Please listen carefully.
Hello, universe. Welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Summers McKay.
And I'm Kristy Jansen, and we are part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to help us all get focused on what's going right in the world.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. Also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy podcast. Today is Thursday, the 6th of January, 2022. I'm going to just kick this off by wishing a very, very, very happy birthday to my daughter's godmother. Happy birthday, fairy godmother Tamara. And with that, that's all my personal business.
All right. And I guess we're just going to skip the anniversary of the day. Yes.
Yeah, no. We're going to move right on. Great. On to good things. So we were having a conversation before today's record about dogs because Ariel, who is now our amazing producer, Kristy, and I are three crazy dog ladies. And there's
not crazy. Don't use that word. We're passionate dog lovers.
Okay, fine. Passionate dog lovers. See, I like to be a crazy cat lady and a crazy dog lady. I recently updated my Facebook profile that says loves all things with paws.
Yes. We're just passionate about our critters.
We're elevating.
Yes.
So we continue to look for a new creature to join our home and finding the right pup to be part of our family. So we have our eye on a pup. It is a rescue. It's from a local person who is caring for a litter, and the pup's not quite yet ready, but fingers crossed. We'll leave that cliffhanger, but there might be a new puppy joining our family sometime before my next birthday, I think, potentially.
Which is in February.
Yes, which is ambiguously in February. So speaking of new and good things that are happening in lives, Kristy, do you have anything fun that's happening for you this month or this next few months?
I think I'm going to actually make a trek to Mammoth and do a little ski trip with my friends and my son. And, I'm not sure if I'm going to get back on the slopes myself because it's been a hell of a long time. I was going
to say, are you a skier? We've not discussed your skiing.
I used to be a skier, yes. But I got kind of grounded and I haven't really been. Actually, sad story. The last time I skied, I found out that a good friend had died. And I guess I just haven't recovered from that experience of getting off of a lift and
learning that
up
news
with a friend and hearing that about Kip and the trauma of having to go pick up all the kids from ski school and telling them. It was a traumatic. And so it's been years since I've been on a ski slope myself, although I did go and join with a group of friends, and our kids, I think last year, not last year. Clearly, nothing happened last year.
A couple, some ambiguous years ago.
And my son is a really big snowboarder. He loves snowboarding. So I think that'll be fun.
My only thought, not that you asked me for advice, but the question that I would ask you is, would the friend who passed away want you to not ski or want you to ski and enjoy? And then perhaps that will allow you to put your boots on or not. But I know that actually one of the last times I skied was right before I had an injury and I ruptured my calf muscle, and I haven't been on a ski slope in darn near a decade. I don't know if this year's the year, but I think it's got to happen soon because I look forward to skiing with my little girl, who is named after my brother, who I used to ski with. So anyway, I'm excited for your trip to Mammoth. I can't wait to hear about it. And whether you just throw snowballs or ski, being in the snow is magic.
I'll be the snow mom,
yes.
Take the kids to their ski school. My son's old enough, but
I was going to say he's too old to go to ski school.
But the 8-year-olds, right? I can enroll them so that their parents can get on the slopes. And maybe I'll buy like an afternoon pass and rent some skis and get on the slopes. I don't know. The baby slope.
Get that pizza wedge going and gently find your way down. Well, we have had so many fun lifestyle stories on the Optimist Daily. And I have to say, it's kind of hard not to pick the lifestyle stories when we are choosing what to talk about, because lifestyle stories are really, really fun to talk about on the podcast. But at the Optimist Daily, we also cover a lot of really serious, really great policy making news, economic news, And today, Kristy and I are diving into policies that inspire us. Kristy, do you want to take the first pass?
I would love to. So the headline that I want to talk about today reads, New York City moves away from natural gas in new buildings. And this is a feature that we've talked about quite a bit on the Optimist Daily. Other cities, mostly in California, have made this pledge to shift away from building new natural gas infrastructure into new construction because honestly, we've got to shift away from fossil fuels. That is the future, all electric. And even if natural gas is part of our electrical infrastructure for the time being, why build it into future buildings, which will last for 30, 40 years? In fact, it can save money to just not provide gas hookups. This is what one of the strategies that cities around the country are adopting to meet ambitious emissions reduction goals. It's a bit controversial because there's a lot of lobbying power in the natural gas industry and in the utilities. They don't like the idea of giving up this, but New York is the latest city and I think the biggest major city to ban the use of natural gas in new buildings. Part of this new legislation, which passed last Wednesday, will say that electricity ought to be used for heating and for cooking as opposed to natural gas. So it's a landmark and it's just yet another big city that's making this decision. And as it becomes normalized for new construction to not include natural gas hookups and not to invest in that for heating purposes or for cooking purposes, there'll be a whole new industry with induction cooking, for example, with, more efficient heating and cooling systems that don't rely on gas. It'll lead to other innovations. So this legislation will apply to new buildings under 7 stories high at the end of 2023 and those over 7 stories in 2027. It falls in line with climate emissions of New York State, which pledged in 2019 to source all electricity from carbon-free sources by 2040. So again, it's about cleaning up the electricity sourcing and supplies, but also cleaning up the infrastructure that we are continuing to build by phasing out gas in our buildings.
I think it's exciting because it's also, this is a policy, but there's an economic opportunity. There's also kind of a really fun content opportunity. If you think about cooking shows or cooking experts, I mean, there's got to be a great
totally agree. It would be great to have
on, induction cooking. And I can see it. It's like the new Ron Popeil of induction cooking.
We wrote, I think in 2020 or maybe with 2020, I don't know, in the last recent past about the Michelin star restaurant that went to all plant-based menu. I think it'd be interesting to see where the next culinary star goes, all electric cooking, because fire is an element that is prized by chefs and is a wonderful element. But how can you do fantastic food with induction cooktops?
I love it. I think that sounds, I don't know, I'm up to the challenge. We don't have an induction cooktop here, but one of the things as I'm reading this story and hearing about other communities, there are so many communities that are on propane tanks. Homes that are on propane tanks are like such an easy shift to just move them to all electric because they're not hooked up to a major system. So I think we should probably look at solutions and stories for the standalone septic tank propane homes and how they can transition to induction and electric power as well.
Right.
I think
put some solar panels on your roof and
exactly. And saute up my veggies.
Right.
Well, speaking of veggies, exactly. Awkward but good transition. This is another policy story. This headline reads, the French ban on plastic packaging for most fruit and vegetables comes into force. Now, a few months ago, we wrote about France's ambitious plan to phase out single-use packaging. On January 1st, that ban actually went into effect, paving the way for more sustainable and ethical consumption habits among its citizens. As part of the ban, about 30 varieties of fruits and vegetables, including cucumbers, lemons, oranges, will be prohibited from being wrapped in plastic packaging. President Emmanuel Macron called the ban a real revolution. Now, government officials believe the ban could actually prevent billions of single-use plastic items from ending up in incinerators, landfills, or the environment. Announcing the new law, France's Environment Ministry stated that the country uses an outrageous amount of single-use plastics and that the new ban aims to cut back the use of throwaway plastic and boost its substitution by other materials or reusable and recyclable packaging. In 2021, the country of France actually did phase out plastic straws, cups, cutleries, and polystyrene takeaway containers. So all of these movements forward are really, really good, and it's chipping away at infrastructure that we assumed wouldn't change, right? It's chipping away at these habits, these choices, whether it is natural gas or it is using, single-use plastics to cover your cucumbers that we're going to get rid of. Actually, one other update. Later in 2022, public spaces will be required to provide water fountains to reduce the use of single-use plastic bottles as well.
Mm-hmm. And that's become kind of typical now. Like my son, all the kids, they're always carrying around their hydro flasks.
What I would say is, having moved to a different part of the country, it is typical in California, typical in certain areas, and the more typical we can make it across the nation and not just in certain cultural areas, the better.
Right. And so it's about creating new habits, creating new standards. And part of that is the top-down bans, like banning plastic packaging or banning natural gas in new buildings. And then also the bottom-up and sort of the social norms of not just getting disposable plastic bottles all the time.
Exactly.
And bringing your hydro flask with you or your glass bottle, which I have. Yep. It's also better because when you drink things out of plastic, there's a negative effect on our biology.
No, it's true. The Countdown interview with Stacey Colino and her colleague, that was very clear to us.
So yeah,
down with plastic, and then also down with orphanhood. There is a decline in orphanhood as HIV treatment increases. Researchers bring Mexico's tequila fish back from the brink of extinction. Now, this 2-part series, which we almost talked about today, Reduce Home Food Waste, Part 1, The Pantry, and Part 2, The Fridge.
Go to the Optimist Daily and read those stories and get some tips on how to, reduce your home food waste. That's
exactly.
important.
Not only policy changing habits, but habits that you can change yourself.
Right. So other headlines today, humpback whales may sing their beautiful songs to sea. Recruiting ketamine in the fight against depression. That's another Schedule 1 drug that actually has some benefits for mental health. There's a study about tardigrades, which can survive quantum entanglement. Ooh, super sciencey, nerdy stuff. Go read it.
I know we need Carissa on today's show to talk about tardigrades and quantum entanglement.
The little water bears. I love them. Does your outfit affect your sleep? Here are 3 sleepwear tips from an expert. All of that and more on the optimistdaily.com. Go check it out. And that's it for today's Optimist Daily Update. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We promise to keep sharing positive, solution-based news stories with ideas on how you can participate in the changing world and help ensure it is changed into the positive direction. We promise to keep covering current events with accurate, legitimate sources and offering you the information we all need to help chart new paths for all of us.
Please, if you haven't yet, consider becoming an emissary for as little as $5 a month. We are reader-funded, independent, supported by listeners and readers like you.
Be part of the Optimist Daily emissary community. That'd be so fun.
I have to tell you, Kristy, I am resisting asking what you wear to sleep based on that last article.
Oh,
I just have to ask. What do you wear to sleep?
I wear a tank top with no sleeves and pajama pants that are loose and comfy.
Brennan co-sleeps with us, and my daughter would sleep in the nude every night if she could, but not unlike her mother, and we don't do that. But it's funny because even in the winter months, people keep sending here's some cozy pajamas, and I just think that's crazy town.
The weird thing is because we have these really soft fuzzy sheets, and if I sleep too undressed, if I sleep naked, which occasionally sometimes I'll end up that way, I get too hot.
You get too hot? You need some separation between you and the
separation.
fuzzy sheets.
I'm really comfortable in my pajamas.
All right. Well, and everybody, you tell us what you sleep in on social at Optimist Daily. You can find us online anywhere. Thank you for listening. We will be back tomorrow with more solutions.